What the beep is going on with XRP? Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. So after Clarity Act went through the banking committee yesterday, there was a lot of confidence in the market. XRP was up. It went over $1.50, but then this whole market started selling off. We're going to cover what the two main reasons are for the crypto market selling off. It's not just the crypto market. Stock market took a nice dip here today after having many days of just very nice returns. We got a juicy red day here for the crypto market and for the stock market as well. So as you can see, XRP right now is sitting at $1.43. Let's just refresh this a little bit. So you can see here XRP and the graph on the daily chart. And if we go here, you can see the high last night after Clarity Act passed, and then the sell-off all the way down to the support zone here for XRP. We did have a little bit of run up here towards the end of the trading day for the stock market, but then it pulled back, and it was similar to what the stock market did here. As you can see, there was a little bit of a comeback here towards the end of the day, but then a sell-off, and the S&P 500 ended up closing 1.39% down, which is big, and the NASDAQ 1.5%. So not the best day for the stock market as well. Crypto market, there's two reasons why XRP sold off. Again, it's not just XRP. Bitcoin fell under 80,000, Solana down to 2,200. Solana, I said Solana, Ethereum, right? Solana dropped under 90 after almost getting to $100 just a few days ago, dropped there 10% and got that sell signal. So there's a few factors. The first factor is the fact that we had the China meeting. President Trump went to China and we got what they talked about. So you can see here, President Trump provides an update on his 48-hour visit to China for the US-China summit with 15 plus US public company CEOs. Details included: tariffs were not discussed with China's President Xi. Trump says they were not brought up. So this is the main thing I think that the market did not like, that there were no talks about tariffs. There was some hope that maybe they'd get a deal done and reduce the tariffs, but that did not happen. Okay. Trump said he made no commitment either way on Taiwan during the talks. Trump says he could meet with China's President Xi 4 times in 2026. Trump says China has not purchased NVIDIA's H200 chips despite US approval for sales. And Trump says he and President Xi discussed the possibility of easing US sanctions on Chinese companies buying Iranian oil. We'll get more details as the day goes on. It was interesting that when they left, they threw out all the stuff that they got from the Chinese because cybersecurity reasons. So that was the first reason why the crypto market, the stock market, everything decided to take a nice dipperoo here today. Okay, for the NASDAQ, for the stock market, it's part of the game. It's part of the ups and downs of the markets. If you zoom out, the NASDAQ is up, right? 27% in the last 48 days. That's, bananas for the NASDAQ. For crypto, again, we talked about this earlier this morning. If you saw the video, why I think that the Clarity Act was buy the rumor, sell the news type of action here. The China effect, yes, but also because, yes, it passed the banking committee, and that was the real reason. That was the reason why it started selling off in January. But people realized that it still needs to be combined and passed in the Senate. If you remember, when we had the Genius Act, people thought, oh, it passed the markup, it passed the banking committee, it passed here, it passed there. And then we got to the Senate and it failed the first time. And then it took, multiple tries for them to get it through. So I think the market is taking that into consideration and selling off a little bit. But again, we could flip very, very fast. Now, something that we've been talking about for a very long time, you know what it is, right? The bond market, right? So, bond market continues to give us massive warnings. And I told we had like Friday night dinner, and my mother-in-law and my grandma-in-law, right? I think you can call her that. My wife's grandmother. We were talking, and she said, "I think that they're going to Iran's going to America's going to attack Iran. We'll get back to the ballistic missiles." And I told them that I have been tracking the 10-year note, right? And every time it gets over 4.5, Trump won't allow it to stay at that level for too long. And then he gives some sort of announcement, and the 10-year pulls back. It's not just the 10-year, though. I told them I think that they're going to use economic things to squeeze them, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe Trump will change his tactics and not, remember when the tariffs were getting too hot and we got to 4.5 or even above 4.5, he gave that extension, that 90-day extension. It got close to 4.5. He was said he was going to send him back to the Stone Age. He pulled back. Right now, again, S&P 500 fresh high record, and the bond market is pricing in higher interest rates for longer. 30-year is 5, 20-year is 5, and 10-year is 4.53, and even went up higher to 4.59 during the day. Every maturity is rising at the same time. Stocks are at the all-time highs because the AI boom is driving earnings, and the market is pricing in years of continued growth. Bond yields do not care about AI. They care about 2 trillion annual deficit, oil at 100, persistent inflation and government borrowing more money every single day to fund a war. Both cannot be right. And historically, it is not the bond market that is wrong. So we'll see what Trump is going to do. He, congratulated himself on the fact that the stock market is at all-time highs, and he keeps saying we're going to see interest rates reduced and we're going to see the markets, have amazing times. But at the end of the day, the bond market is telling us something different. So I know that this isn't the sexiest thing to look at, although it is going up. So if you like looking at graphs to the upside, maybe it would be sexy to you. um, but we'll see how this plays out. Now, interestingly, again, XRP whales are at their highest accumulation since 2018, holding 45.83 billion tokens worth 68.5 billion as XRP eyes 1.5, according to sentiment, right? So this is wallets with at least 10 million XRP. Think about this. That's a lot. 68.5 billion. XRP is a market cap of 88.5 billion. So these whales hold 68 out of 88. That means retail only holds a low 30 million, right? And so this tells you that whales are continuing to accumulate, whereas retail or smaller investors either sold or are still waiting on the sidelines. So this is interesting. And we'll see potentially what could happen with XRP once Clarity Act passes in full, right? There are people that are already looking at XRP and these crazy price actions, price predictions saying 300 XRP. Someone that works in banking, he says, shortly after the Clarity Act is enacted, banks will start using XRP. Now that's the big question, right? Will they or won't they? Those who say XRP will rise slowly or only reach 5 or 10 view bank like grocery stores joining the system one by one. However, Ripple has already partnered with giant infrastructure providers like Volante, ACI Worldwide, and Finstrom. The reality is that these infrastructure providers serve thousands of banks with a single update. In other words, Ripple does not need them to sign individual contracts with 13,000 banks. The moment they plug into the central cloud, all banks connected to the system become capable of using XRP liquidity. Therefore, it will take years. Claims represent the failure to understand the speed of software world. XRP is a payment transfer system. If XRP remains at 10 to 20, it would be like trying to transfer the water in the ocean with a small straw. The straw needs to grow, and large pipes are required. Therefore, as the price increases, the pipes expand and transfer becomes much faster. We'll see. We'll see if this is potentially going to happen. Again, shwaya shwaya, slowly, slowly. Let's get Clarity Act passed first, and then we'll see what could potentially happen here. As always, just want to remind you, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, check out the links in the description down below. Continue to support the channel in any way you can. Fight the algorithm, and we'll see how XRP plays out here and the crypto market plays out here in the next coming days. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.